Check out this mini onion harvest. This is pretty cool. So they were supposed to get a little bigger, but I accidentally, I think I killed the tops. Like they're supposed to have the green, but I cut them trying to, give more power to them, and I think I killed them. So I figured I'd just take them out of the ground before they go bad. I also wanted to see how the potatoes were doing, so I figured I'd dig around a little bit, and I found this little guy, which means the potatoes are doing phenomenal out there, and I'm excited to harvest these guys in a couple of weeks.
Trying to find a location for this concert. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Do you guys host events still? How does that work? Like renting out that location for an event? Okay.
Thinking of having a second wedding?
No, it's funny. I'm hosting a concert in the fall, and I'm looking for a venue that could fit about 100 people. I don't even know how many people this could host, but I'm just like kind of exploring all options at this point.
Good for you. Good luck.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? I had a quick question for you. In your years of a business, do you know anybody that might be interested in renting out a warehouse for like about a week in October to
like
host?
An empty one, right?
I mean, relatively. Like, I'm doing a concert in the fall. There's a lot of moving parts. Like, it's going to be mainly live streamed. Like, the goal is to sell 1,000 tickets, 900 for live stream and 100 in person. So like I really need to make sure it's like good for the live stream people, and like with that I kind of want to have some time setting it up and everything. So if I were to just do it at like a regular venue like Amityville Music Hall, like I might only have the space for like 4 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't test anything.
Exactly. So like I would love to have a space that it'd be a lot more work to set up, because I'd have to provide everything, but like if I could have a space for 3-4 days, I wouldn't have to, or even longer if they wanted to, like I'd pay for it, and I could like kind of customize it to how I want to. Obviously, it'd be more expensive, but I'm exploring all options at the moment. Hi, Bullet. Hi, buddy. Take a look at what we're making for lunch today. Interesting. Whoa. It's a little crispy, a little foggy. It's almost like a meal that you'd have in the middle of November, but let me explain. We have a mix of sweet potatoes, fresh beets, radishes, and garlic and onion roasted in the oven. And then I'm gonna make some salmon over here. This has been a marinated salmon. So essentially we had this and we didn't want to go. We were gonna make it for dinner a couple nights ago and didn't want to go bad. So I figured I'd just make it now. So the roasted beets are local. The onions are local. They're mine actually from the garden this morning. The radishes are mine as well. These are from the store, but I'm growing sweet potatoes, so hopefully we get them. This looks pretty good, but it's like a hearty like November meal. So I'm super curious to see how these beets taste. They're a little crispy. Let's take a look. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a little hard. Might even need a little more cooking. Flavoring is pretty good though. I mean, it's got a hearty beet flavor, I can tell you that. You gotta watch the shirt, make sure I don't stain the shirt, because this will 100% stain. It looks like a potato. I mean, good. These are totally everything. This is all done. Alright, let's cook the, that's good. Let's cook the salmon. You know what's actually insanely delicious when they're cooked? I mean, they're good raw, but not nearly as good when they're cooked. Radishes. Radishes freaked me out. That's the salmon cooking. The pan shifting. Radishes are phenomenal when you cook them. They lose all that spiciness. They kind of get this really kind of potatoey. I highly recommend it. Also, fry the tops. Radish tops fried. They get crispy. They're so good. All right, we are on cup 3 of espresso today. Man, life has changed a lot lately in the sense that it has gone from kind of creating content day to day or like even in advance to now it's almost actually more of like working day to day for your paycheck, like an hourly job, versus investing in something that will be big and get a big payoff in the end. Because like I'm not creating nearly as much content lately, but like what I am doing is working towards something that can make potentially a lot of money in the end, which is that concert. Man, all I've done today pretty much has been on phone calls and looking up flights. I've been on phone calls with so many different people talking about venue ideas and getting opinions and asking, kind of calling in favors and just so many different things. Like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Running ideas about past people. And then on top of that, looking at flights for potential gig opportunities where like I play in these cities for supporters that are willing to host things, which is amazing. Like the fact, like my brain just hurts because like I feel like I'm playing Tetris to some degree, where it's like, for example, the one I'm looking at today is a really cool, exciting opportunity, but it's really soon. So there's a lot of, like, that's a factor. But it's also like, here's the full story. So the full story is that, shout out to Roy, super supporter of the channel. Roy is phenomenal. Has this opportunity for me where I could play in California, but it's like he's in northern California, so he's kind of smack between San Francisco, Oakland, and Sacramento. So it's like kind of right in between all those cities, which is cool. But part of me is like, I don't want to go to California without going to LA, because 6 out of the past 5 interviews I've done, all those people live in LA, and I want to connect with them. It's real, like, connections and like all the great opportunities that I've had in my career have come from connections, right? And throw onto the fact that a friend of mine, they're selling an apartment, but it's vacant for the month of August. So they offered like, hey, if you're in LA at any point in August, like you can stay there for free. Will save me like $500 in a hotel, but it's in LA. The show's not in LA. And I'm like, when's the next time I'm going to be able to go out to LA to stay for free? Like, so like part of me just wants to utilize that. And like my brain, like I'm so optimistic that it's hard for me to take no. Like in the sense of like, it's always possible in my head until it's not. And I'm like, I will exhaust every single option until it's just actually not possible. So like, that's kind of where I am. But it's like, okay, well, do I fly from LaGuardia to LAX with Delta for this amount? Or do I fly from LaGuardia to San Francisco for this amount? And from San Francisco, do I stay a day or do I stay 2 days? And then do I fly to LA? But do I fly to LA first or do I fly to LA second? Like, it's just so many factors that it's like, whoa. But in the end, all of this, the booking of the venues, the booking of shows, all this, it's a blessing. And that's the perspective I'm trying to keep. Like, the fact that any of this is a conversation, the fact that I have a supporter of my music that's willing to have a concert, host me for a concert across the country where I'm getting paid is even mind-blowing. Like, the fact that that's even a conversation is amazing. And I'm trying to keep that grateful perspective over everything else. I think I figured it out. I think I figured trip details. Now Jamie and I are going to see Top Gun for $5 ticket Tuesday at AMC. Shout out to AMC.